Is something that does occur here at Hinsdale Central. We're not immune to it, just like any other high school in the United States. When it is brought to our attention, obviously we do address it in whatever capacity that we can. Sometimes outside of school things are brought to our attention, which maybe the school doesn't have the authority to handle, but we still have the power to address those students, contact parents, and point parents in the right direction in terms of follow-up, whether that's with local law enforcement agencies, or if that student needs emotional support, we can obviously provide that in the building. But we do have an obligation to talk to those students who are involved, because it doesn't pertain to the school. As far as on-school things or issues of bullying that pertain to the school, we have every right to address it. And that does include things that occur off campus but pertain to the school. For example, if there's an issue that's already occurred in the school, but then things continue outside of the school, there is a direct link between that behavior outside of the school and the school. So the school has every right to intervene. Cyberbullying is very common. Verbal bullying is very common. Physical is not as common here at Hinsdale Central, but it does occur. And when it is reported to the dean's office, we do conduct an investigation. We talk to all relevant parties and witnesses, and then there is a consequence assigned. And that could be anything, depending upon the severity, anything from a student-parent conference all the way up to I've had to suspend students out of school for their mistreatment of other students. We do follow up with the victim after the fact, and we do follow up with the bully after the fact to see from their perspective, from both parties' perspective, in terms of is this continuing or not. We do sometimes, if it's not so one-sided, if it's more of a mutual disagreement, we will provide. Oftentimes what's just effective is we have mediation conducted by the social work department, and that's been very effective too into solving interpersonal disputes between students. But as far as just one student bullying another student, it is always addressed. The biggest issue that we have sometimes is not always reported, but there are various ways to report it. If you go on the school website, there's an anonymous online bullying forum. There's a tip line. You can leave an anonymous phone call, but typically it's reported to us through teachers through friends of the victim, or sometimes the victim just had enough and they just walk in the door and say, listen, Mr. Edzi, I've got a problem, can I get some help? You know, I feel like a lot of it does go unreported, which is unfortunate, but I would encourage any student, even if you have nothing to do with it, if you're just a bystander in the hallway and you see this, please come see one of the deans, see a teacher that you know and trust, see a coach, or go home and make a report with the anonymous tip line. The anonymous tip line is helpful, at least it gets the ball rolling. It's hard for us sometimes because we can always ask follow-up questions, but if you want to stay out of it and keep your remain anonymous, I would strongly urge you to follow up in one of those various things.
I was a freshman at York High School. I was severely bullied to the point that I had to get a lot of help. I joined the basketball team, the girls basketball team, my freshman year. I had played basketball my entire life. But when things actually got really bad was at the end of the season. We had our end of the year pizza party at a pizza place. And while we were waiting for our parents to pick us up, 3 of the really popular girls on the team from the right side of the tracks came running in. And basically told us as we were waiting for our parents that they just vandalized the coach's cars. Later that night, I got a phone call from the police asking me about what happened. And I told them what I told them. I told them what I saw. I didn't think anything of it. I knew that they were breaking the law by vandalizing 2 people's cars. So I told them which 3 girls had told me that they had did it, and I just kind of moved forward. I went to the next day to school, and one of my best friends that I grew up with came up to me and said, I can't believe you did that. I said, what? She goes, I can't believe you ratted out the basketball team. I walked through the halls that day, and people I had never talked to before, upperclassmen, were calling me names. I get to class, and all my friends are ignoring me. I have no idea what to do about it, and I ended up going home early that day. Things got worse. I started getting shoved into lockers and ended up in the dean's office one day in tears. I told him what was going on. He said, what can I do about it? I said, I really don't know what you can do, because if anything you do, you're going to make it worse. He said, well, I have to do something. So he ended up suspending a couple of the kids that were really picking on me that were throwing me in the lockers. But things didn't get better. The same 3 girls that were the ones that were in trouble continued to pick on me until the day I moved my sophomore year. One thing that you have to take out of the whole bullying situation is you do need to find who your group is that's going to be your saviors, that's going to be your protectors. Because I was in a really tight-knit group of about 10 girls, and they were kind of my shield for the rest of my freshman year. I wouldn't go anywhere in the hallway just without them. And like I've said, they've continued to be friends even after I moved away. We continue to keep in touch. We continue to keep in touch on social media, on Facebook, which is amazing. But if I had to do it again, I think I still would. But it taught me a lot about what I can handle in this life, and living through that, I think if you can live through that kind of bullying, you can survive pretty much anything. But it did make me stronger. It made me be able to deal with adversity, and I think if you could find that close-knit group that can act as your shield, that is the thing that will save you if you go through this type of experience. Take a stand.
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 Take a stand.